Some people chase attention. INFJs attract it without noise, without effort. There's something magnetic about their presence, a quiet gravity that pulls people in, even when they say nothing at all. It's not beauty or charm, it's energy. The way they move, the way they listen, the calm intensity in their eyes. It all makes people feel like they're standing in front of someone who sees more than they say. INFJs don't try to stand out, but they do effortlessly. Their silence carries weight, their aura feels calm but unreadable. It's that rare mix of softness and mystery that makes people want to understand them. And the truth is, most people don't know why they're drawn in, they just are. Because INFJs have mastered something the world has forgotten: presence. They don't fight for validation or try to impress, they just exist authentically. And that authenticity in a world built on performance is hypnotic. People sense it instantly. The INFJ's energy says, "You can relax here, but you can't fool me." That combination, warmth without weakness, depth without demand, makes them unforgettable. Their magnetism isn't loud, it's subtle. It's the calm in a storm, the steadiness in chaos, the rare feeling of being understood without having to explain. That's what keeps people coming back, the peace and the mystery coexisting in one person. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to BRAINY 1, where we explore the psychology, intuition, and quiet power behind the INFJ personality. And if you've ever felt people drawn to your silence, your calm, your depth, your way of seeing without judging, comment quiet magnetism below. Let's break down why INFJs attract attention. Not by trying, but by simply being who they are. Their calm energy stands out in a world addicted to noise. In a world where everyone's shouting to be noticed, the INFJ's calm feels like a whisper that somehow cuts through the chaos. They don't compete for attention, they command it through stillness. Their energy doesn't push, it pulls. While others rely on words, volume, and presence to be seen, the INFJ is seen because they don't demand it. Their calm energy feels different, grounding, rare, magnetic. People can sense it instantly. It's the way they move slowly in a room full of rush, the way their tone stays soft while others talk over each other. That composure is more than politeness, it's emotional control. And that kind of stillness draws attention like light draws shadows. People may not understand it, but they feel it. An INFJ doesn't need validation to exist, they already know who they are. The reason their calm is so magnetic is because it disrupts the rhythm of the world. Everyone else is addicted to stimulation, constant scrolling, constant talking, constant proving. Then the INFJ enters, grounded, observant, unhurried, and suddenly everything feels slower, clearer, more intentional. Their energy reminds people what peace feels like. And peace is something most people secretly crave. It's not about arrogance, it's about awareness. The INFJ doesn't need to prove their value through noise because they understand their strength lies in presence, not performance. Their calm comes from depth, from understanding emotions instead of reacting to them, from knowing that silence can speak louder than shouting. That balance, quiet yet powerful, is what makes people stop and notice. And what's even more fascinating is that the INFJ doesn't try to stand out. Their stillness is natural, their calm is genuine, they're not performing peace, they are peace. In a world addicted to drama, that authenticity feels almost rebellious. People can't quite explain it, but when they're near an INFJ, they feel lighter, less anxious, more aware. It's not something the INFJ does, it's who they are, and that's their quiet magic. While everyone else tries to be louder, the INFJ becomes unforgettable by simply being calm in a world that forgot how. They listen deeply, making people feel truly seen and understood. When an INFJ listens, it doesn't feel like a conversation, it feels like being known. They don't just hear words, they absorb what's between them, the pauses, the tone, the emotion that lingers in silence. Their attention is total, and in a world where most people listen to reply, that kind of listening feels sacred. It's why people open up to them so easily, revealing secrets they never planned to share. The INFJ's presence whispers, "You're safe here." They don't interrupt, they don't rush to fix, they simply listen, completely, patiently, as if every word matters. And it does. To an INFJ, listening isn't waiting for their turn to speak, it's stepping into someone else's world for a moment. That rare emotional focus makes people feel visible in ways they've never experienced. It's not about advice, it's about understanding. The magic of their listening lies in their empathy. They pick up emotional details no one else notices. The sadness behind a smile, the fear hidden in humor, the hesitation tucked inside a confident tone. They see past the story into the soul. People feel disarmed because the INFJ doesn't judge, they feel. And that's what makes them unforgettable. They make others feel understood, not analyzed. What most don't realize is how much energy this takes. The INFJ gives a piece of themselves every time they truly listen. They hold emotional weight like a mirror, reflecting truth gently but powerfully. And even after the conversation ends, they carry those emotions quietly, thinking, processing, caring long after the words fade. But that's also their strength. Their deep listening isn't weakness, it's connection at its purest, because in a world full of noise, being understood is a rare gift, and the INFJ gives it effortlessly. That's why people remember them, not for what they said, but for how they made them feel. The calm, the care, the sense that just for a moment, someone truly saw them. That's the INFJ's secret power. They don't just hear people, they heal them with their silence. Their silence holds confidence, not shyness. Silence makes most people uncomfortable, but for an INFJ, silence is home. They don't rush to fill the quiet, they own it. Their stillness isn't insecurity, it's control. While others speak to prove something, the INFJ's silence proves everything. You can feel it, that grounded, unshakable confidence that doesn't need words to be felt. In conversation, they don't interrupt, they don't compete to be heard, they wait, not because they're shy, but because they're watching, studying, listening, every pause, every shift in tone, every glance, they take it in, like clues in a story. And when they finally speak, people listen, not because their voice is loud, but because it carries weight. You can sense that every word was chosen, shaped by thought, not impulse. That's what makes them magnetic. Their silence isn't empty, it's charged. It's the kind of quiet that holds awareness, restraint, and strength. People can't help but wonder, what are they thinking? What do they see that I don't? That curiosity becomes fascination. In a world addicted to oversharing, the INFJ's mystery becomes their loudest language. Their silence also acts as a mirror. Around them, people reveal more than they intend to. They try to fill the stillness, to earn the INFJ's reaction, to break through the calm, and in doing so, they expose their own insecurities. The INFJ doesn't need to call anyone out, their silence already does. But beneath that quiet confidence is wisdom. The INFJ has learned that not everything deserves a response, not every battle deserves energy, and not every truth needs to be spoken. Their restraint isn't fear, it's focus. They've mastered the art of conserving energy for what matters. So when people mistake their silence for weakness, they misunderstand power. Because real strength doesn't shout, it stays centered. The INFJ's calm, steady presence says more than any speech ever could. And that's why they stand out, not because they talk the loudest, but because they know when to say nothing at all. They radiate authenticity, which feels rare and magnetic. In a world full of filters, masks, and perfectly rehearsed personalities, authenticity shines like a spotlight, and INFJs are that light. They don't fake warmth. They don't pretend to fit in. Their energy feels raw, unedited, and real. That's why people notice them, not because they're trying to stand out, but because they can't hide their truth, even if they wanted to. And INFJ's authenticity runs deep. When they speak, you can feel they mean every word. When they smile, it's genuine, never performative. When they care, it's not out of obligation, but connection. People sense that sincerity instantly. It's disarming. It makes others lower their guard, even if they didn't plan to, because being around someone who's real feels like a relief in a world built on performance. What makes their authenticity magnetic is the contrast. Most people are busy performing roles, confident, happy, successful. The INFJ, meanwhile, is just present. They don't chase trends or validation. They don't mold themselves to be liked. They live from the inside out, guided by values, not applause. And that rare alignment between who they are and how they act creates a quiet kind of power. It's not that INFJs are perfect, they simply refuse to be fake. Their honesty comes with softness. They'll tell the truth, but with empathy. They'll be real, but never cruel. That emotional integrity creates a sense of trust that can't be forced. People open up because they feel they won't be judged. The INFJ's authenticity doesn't demand attention, it earns respect. Ironically, it's this very realness that makes them mysterious. You can't predict them because they don't play by surface rules. They'll disappear from fake environments, protect their peace over popularity, and choose solitude over shallow company. That quiet refusal to compromise their essence is what sets them apart. And that's the paradox. The more genuine they are, the more magnetic they become, not because they're trying to attract, but because truth naturally pulls people in. The world is starving for something real, and the INFJ is that. Their authenticity isn't an act, it's their aura. And that's why when they walk into a room, people don't just see them, they feel them. Their empathy creates emotional safety that people crave. There's something about an INFJ's presence that feels like a sigh of relief. People don't always know why, but when they're around them, their walls start to fall. The tension fades. The need to pretend disappears. That's the quiet magic of INFJ empathy. It creates emotional safety without effort. Their energy says, you don't have to perform here, just be. And in a world where everyone's afraid of being judged or misunderstood, that kind of space feels sacred. INFJs don't force connection, they invite it. Their eyes don't just look at you, they see you. They sense the feelings you can't articulate, the emotions hiding behind your smile. And instead of reacting or rushing to fix, they hold space, calmly, compassionately. That stillness becomes a refuge for people who are used to being dismissed or overlooked. The secret behind their empathy isn't pity, it's understanding. They don't see people as broken, they see them as becoming. They know what it feels like to be misunderstood, to carry heavy emotions silently. So when someone else is struggling, they approach with quiet gentleness. No pressure, no agenda, just presence. And that's why people open up to them so easily. It's not just what the INFJ says, it's how they make people feel. Around them, emotions don't feel like weaknesses, they feel like truths being witnessed. That emotional safety gives people permission to be real, to unravel without fear. The INFJ becomes the calm in their storm, the anchor that steadies everything. But what most don't realize is that this empathy comes with cost. The INFJ absorbs so much emotion that it can leave them drained. Yet they keep offering it because their heart isn't built for indifference. It's built for connection. Their empathy is both gift and gravity, drawing people closer, sometimes even those who take more than they give. Still, the INFJ doesn't stop caring. Because they understand something others don't, healing doesn't always come from advice. Sometimes it comes from simply being felt. And that's the power of their empathy. It doesn't demand change, it allows it. That's why people don't just like being around INFJs, they heal in their presence. They're mysterious, open enough to connect, yet private enough to intrigue. People feel drawn to them not because they reveal everything, but because they don't. The INFJ walks a rare line between connection and distance. They'll open up just enough to make you feel close, but not enough to let you fully inside. You sense warmth, yet there's always a layer of mystery you can't quite reach. That balance, open but unreadable, is what makes them unforgettable. When you talk to an INFJ, it feels real. They listen deeply, ask meaningful questions, and make you feel like your words matter. But the more you share, the more you realize they don't reveal much about themselves, not because they're hiding, but because they guard their depth. They've learned that most people can't handle the full truth of who they are, so they offer glimpses, flashes of insight, moments of honesty, and then retreat behind calm composure. It's this rhythm that keeps people captivated. The INFJ's openness feels genuine, but their privacy feels sacred. You can sense the vast world inside them, thoughts, feelings, visions, but they only show you what they choose. That control over their emotional transparency gives them power. It's not manipulation, it's self-preservation. They know that mystery sustains meaning. What makes it even more magnetic is their contrast. They can be warm and distant, expressive and quiet, present and untouchable, all in the same breath. It's not confusion, it's complexity. The INFJ isn't trying to be mysterious, they are mysterious by nature. Their depth can't be simplified, and people can't help but want to understand it. But the closer someone gets, the more they realize that the INFJ's mystery isn't about secrets, it's about boundaries. They don't hide who they are, they protect it, they give connection without exposure, empathy without over-explanation, and that balance, rare and deliberate, creates an emotional tension that fascinates people long after the conversation ends. In a world where everyone overshares to feel seen, the INFJ does the opposite. They hold back just enough to stay whole. That restraint is what makes their presence linger. Because when someone is both open and unreadable, you don't just remember them, you wonder about them. Their emotional intelligence makes others drop their masks. You can't fake it around someone who sees you, and that's exactly what happens with an INFJ. Their emotional intelligence is so sharp, so quietly observant that pretending feels impossible. One look, one pause, and you feel seen in a way that strips away everything artificial. People come to them wearing confidence, sarcasm, or charm, but within minutes, those layers start falling off. Not because the INFJ demands truth, but because their presence makes dishonesty feel heavy. They pick up on things most people miss: the tension behind a smile, the hesitation in a voice, the flicker of discomfort in someone's eyes. They don't confront it directly, they simply mirror calm understanding. That non-judgmental awareness creates a sense of safety that disarms people. The more someone talks, the more real they become, as if the INFJ's empathy pulls honesty out of them like a tide. But what's remarkable is how effortlessly they do it. They don't ask deep questions to pry, they listen deeply to connect. Their tone is gentle, their energy steady, and their attention undivided. That rare combination tells people, you don't need your mask here. Suddenly, the performer becomes vulnerable, the loud one becomes thoughtful, and the guarded one opens up, not out of pressure, but because they want to. What makes this emotional intelligence so powerful is that it's rooted in experience. INFJs have been through emotional storms. They've learned to read motives, decode manipulation, and sense authenticity, not from theory, but from survival. That's why their insight feels intuitive, almost psychic. They've mastered emotional pattern recognition, but they never use it to judge. They use it to understand. And that's where the paradox lies. Their empathy exposes truth without confrontation. The moment someone realizes they can't hide behind charm or noise, they either step closer or retreat completely. Both reactions tell the INFJ everything they need to know. Their emotional intelligence isn't loud, it's quiet revelation. It doesn't demand truth, it creates it. And that's why people remember them long after, not because the INFJ forced them to open up, but because they helped them feel something rare, the freedom to be real. They project strength through softness, power without domination. True power doesn't shout, it resonates. That's the kind of strength INFJs carry. It's not loud, it's not forceful, and it doesn't need attention. Their strength lives in their calm, in the way they handle conflict without raising their voice, in the way they stand their ground with grace, not aggression. It's the kind of quiet control that makes people stop and pay attention, not because they're told to, but because they feel it. An INFJ doesn't dominate a room, they ground it. Their energy stabilizes chaos without demanding recognition. When tension rises, they don't match it, they lower it. When others try to control through volume or fear, they respond with composure that dismantles the entire performance. That soft steadiness carries more authority than intimidation ever could, because while force pushes people away, presence pulls them in. Their softness isn't weakness, it's awareness. They understand emotions deeply, their own and others, so instead of reacting impulsively, they respond intentionally. Every word, every silence, every look has purpose. It's emotional precision disguised as gentleness. People often underestimate it at first, mistaking calm for passivity, until they realize the INFJ just redirected the entire situation without ever raising their tone. This balance of empathy and assertiveness makes them powerful in ways most can't grasp. They can comfort and confront, forgive and set boundaries, listen and still lead. Their strength doesn't come from ego, it comes from understanding. And that's what makes it unshakable. They don't need to win arguments or prove superiority. They simply embody what others are still trying to perform. And perhaps the most magnetic part of this power is how it feels. Being around them doesn't make you feel small, it makes you feel safe. Their presence invites authenticity because it's rooted in security, not control. People sense it instinctively. This person doesn't need to dominate to lead. That's why INFJ strength leaves such a deep impression. It's quiet but commanding, gentle but unbreakable. They remind everyone that softness can be armor, that empathy can be strategy, and that the calmest energy in the room is often the most powerful one. Because real strength doesn't overpower, it transforms everything around it. Their presence lingers. People can't forget how they felt around them. Some people leave memories. INFJs leave imprints. You might forget their words, their clothes, even their voice, but you'll never forget the feeling they gave you. There's something about their energy that stays long after they're gone, like a soft echo that refuses to fade. It's not because they demand attention, it's because their presence changes the emotional atmosphere wherever they go. They make you feel seen, not judged, understood, not analyzed, safe, yet vulnerable. That combination is rare and unforgettable. People spend so much time hiding parts of themselves that when someone finally sees through the surface and still accepts them, it leaves a mark. That's the INFJ effect, emotional resonance that lingers longer than any conversation. It's the way they listen, not just with ears, but with empathy. It's the stillness in their gaze that makes you question your own masks. It's their calm energy that slows the chaos inside your mind. Around them, you breathe differently, slower, deeper, safer. And when they leave, you notice the silence they take with them. The world feels a little louder, a little colder, a little less peaceful. INFJs don't realize the impact they have because they don't seek it. Their presence isn't designed to impress, it's meant to connect. They move through life gently, unaware that their energy heals people they barely know. Sometimes a single conversation with them can shift someone's entire outlook, simply because for once that person felt understood. But this lingering effect isn't magic, it's depth. INFJs operate at an emotional frequency most people never reach. They give meaning to moments others overlook. They speak with intention, listen without distraction, and care without calculation. That sincerity can't be replicated, and people know it. So when they disappear into their quiet solitude, those who've met them can't quite move on. They replay the calm, the warmth, the honesty, trying to understand how someone could be so gentle and yet so powerful. That's why INFJs are unforgettable, because long after they leave, the feeling they created remains. Not loud, not dramatic, just real. When you meet an INFJ, you don't just remember them, you feel them. Their presence leaves something behind, something calm yet powerful that stays with you long after the moment is gone. It's not about charm or words or appearance. It's energy, a kind of quiet magic that reminds you what authenticity feels like in a world built on noise. If you've ever met someone who didn't have to say much, yet somehow made you feel completely seen, you already know what I'm talking about. That's the INFJ effect. Rare, grounding, and unforgettable. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to BRAINY, where we explore the hidden psychology and emotional depth behind INFJ minds, their quiet power, and their magnetic presence. And if you've watched until the end, comment "unforgettable calm" below, so I'll know you're one of the few who truly understands that the strongest presence isn't loud, it's felt.